Imagine, if you will, a future, or even a present, where you're not quite sure if what you're being told is real. You're not even sure if it was even created by a human being. Well, you may already be there now. You may just not know it. I know this all sounds confusing, and it is to me and to a lot of others, but there's compelling evidence out there that what you're seeing is not necessarily human. Think I'm joking? I'm not. Let's take a deep dive into the future, the terrifying future of entertainment with AI. Here we go. I don't often feature articles by The Verve on my channel. From time to time, they do offer some pretty cool stuff, and this is one that I actually was sent by my editor, Mr. Grant Gregory, and I have to tell you, it's quite compelling and a little bit terrifying. Let's take a look real quick. Here we go. Has AI already started to take over, and would you even notice? With modern AI apps readily available, what does the future hold? This article is by Artie Feshno, again from February 23rd, 2022. Looks like it was published in the afternoon. And wow, I like the illustration. That's pretty awesome. When it comes to artificial intelligence, there are a lot of great potentials, but also a lot of danger. You do not know if what you are reading has been written by a person or a machine. And when you can't tell what is what, how do you know what you can or cannot trust? It's a good question. And what happens when machines become so intelligent that they can do everything better than a human? And what do we do with people who can't contribute to society anymore because the machines are doing it for them? That's a terrifying question. And if machines can do everything for us, how will we entertain ourselves? Well, that's actually pretty easy to answer, but I don't know. To reiterate, there's a lot of potentials and a lot of dangers. Artificial intelligence will affect our lives in many, many ways. It may, for example, take over our jobs. Machines can already write better articles than humans. The question is if the artificial intelligence will write better articles or produce more accurate data. Could we trust them?
How could we know that the machine really wrote an article or produced data?
These questions are important to be answered before artificial intelligence becomes mainstream and is widely used by everyone. Another example of artificial intelligence is driverless cars, which are being introduced in some states in America right now. Driverless cars have sensors and cameras which allow them to see and detect objects around them without any human input. In fact, we have seen some of those things and some recalls on some, including obviously some Teslas and also some VWs recently, actually just a few days ago with the Volkswagens. At least they're SUVs anyway, so keep going. They can sense the speed of the car and the distance between it and other objects. Driverless cars are more efficient than human drivers because they don't get distracted and aren't influenced by emotions like anger or fear. Well, that's right. If you get cut off by a driverless car and you're in a driverless car, I mean, does it really cut off? Was it more effective and efficient for the two vehicles to interact in that way at that point in time? There's a lot of really interesting questions out there around that, but I'll keep going.
Driverless cars have already been tested in many countries around the world, but there are still some problems to be solved before they become mainstream. For example, they sometimes don't work properly in poor weather conditions like snow and rain, because it is difficult to detect objects with sensors when it is raining hard or snowing.
Well, that makes sense too. Interesting. Driverless cars have been modified to keep their sense of direction in poor weather conditions. Of course, that's an interesting aside. We will tell you about one more example of artificial intelligence, Qasim, a robot from Qatar. Qasim is already working at the airport and can check travelers' passports, compare it with the information on their tickets, issue the passenger a boarding pass, and print baggage claim stickers. That's wow. The robot system is made up of 2 laser sensors and 3 tablets, which it uses to scan passports, issue the the tickets or check the tickets, and the bags for the stickers. There you go. Picking up a passport for checking is something that Kassam does automatically. It doesn't depend on an all-seeing eye, an oracle of sorts hanging around its neck. It all happens entirely autonomously through scanning technology, allowing it to scan not only the text, but also the numbers without someone's help. That's really interesting. Kasim is another great example of artificial intelligence working in various devices and machines. Didn't know that. This artificial intelligence system works in a daily routine at some of the busiest places on the planet. Wow. AI translation, this is a cool aside. AI translation has a number of problems from missing nuance to injecting bias. That's interesting. The danger involved is in who is the one who is programming these AIs. Not caught in editing there. And can we trust not only the AI, but the programmers themselves, who are also human and fallible? We should also be thinking about how these techniques are connected to the surveillance technology. Holy cow, no kidding. The general public, eventually, they will be unable to oppose any more privacy. Oh, I see what they're trying to say. But the question is, who will have control over this kind of weapon? For example, police may find criminals and extremists sooner and in a very easy way without having to spend time or money for intelligence or detective services, and we cannot ignore the danger that this technology involves. No kidding. Wow. Chairman of the Artificial Committee at MIT, Professor Ben Jabatuya, stated AI translation has a number of problems, from missing nuance to injecting bias. I guess I read the aside earlier. Whether that be from the programmer or the natural evolution of the AI learning algorithm. But when it comes to having your life fully automated, from basic chores to even writing symphonies, AI will deliver that in our lifetime. Wow. It's a pretty amazing article. And despite some editing errors, I think we'll have to agree that it could be a very terrifying future. Interestingly enough, this article wasn't written by a human, as you may have already discerned, and I played a little... I may have employed some subterfuge, and so did Mr. Grant Gregory, but essentially this article was completely written by AI, attributed to The Verge. It even created a really cool name called Artificial as the byline, and of course the illustration by John McCarthy. I thought that was a lot of fun. And of course everything in there was completely crafted by AI. It wasn't written by me, it wasn't written by Grant, it was written by a computer, and it pulls information from the internet after just a little bit of training. I've shown examples of this before on live streams with Comics Division and many others, where you essentially put in, the premise for what you want to write, and the machine will, fire out a bunch of options. Sometimes they're complete garbage. Sometimes they result in something like this. I have to tell you, we're already living in the Twilight Zone, and we have been for quite some time. I will tell you also that you are constantly consuming data that has been produced by AI, whether you know it or not. Services like the AP, Reuters, and several others already employ these AI bots to produce, sports stories with statistics and numbers, and also, financial data, which is kind of terrifying, people making decisions based on something spit out of a computer. Because as you can see, there were several editing errors in the article that we just looked at. There were also some other issues, and some conjugation problems and, punctuation and many other things. But it's spooky. And I think that we should be very well aware of what the potential for this actually is. In fact, during the course of this story, whether you know it or not, a robot was basically being me. And when I say that, I mean vocally. Vocally, you would not know the difference between my voice
or my voice, which isn't 100% perfect, but it can do some amazing things. In culture rap, yes he can. Yo, his palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy. There's vomit on his sweater already, mom's spaghetti. He's nervous, but on the surface he looks calm and ready to drop bombs, but he keeps on forgetting. I am a mother pheasant plucker. I pluck mother pheasants. I'm the most pleasant mother pheasant plucker to ever pluck a mother pheasant. I'm not the pheasant plucker, I'm the pheasant plucker's wife. I've been plucking mother pheasants my whole pheasant plucking life.
That's pretty spooky. There's also many other things that are happening, as you know, with deepfake technology and other things where We're getting to a point that unless you see it with your own eyes, how can you trust it? And are you not already being observed by various forms of AI during the course of the day? I would have to make the assumption that you are, and that what little privacy you have should be guarded zealously. With that being said, what do you think? Do you think this is an interesting technology? Do you think this will be employed for good or bad? Both. Do you think that this is going to advance entertainment and information, or do you think this will essentially make it easier to control the human species? All of these questions have to be answered. Ethics need to be examined, and right now we live in a world with, very few ethics, especially in the field of journalism, entertainment, and government, which are the three things you would hope would have high ethical standards, but clearly at this moment, do not. Anyway, feel free to leave those comments down below. I would truly appreciate it. Of course, do support other independent content creators out there on the platform, as they absolutely do deserve your support. They are oftentimes held down and repressed by an algorithm, a form of AI that is constantly evaluating them versus, well, of course, the corporate content creators. And we already know who the AI favors. Sometimes there are even humans involved in suppressing channels, and to me, that's just downright dirty. But hey, you can help out by simply subscribing to their channels. Of course, make sure you hit the bell for notifications, because that helps as well. Please do that for me. And also hit the like button. Share out whatever content they provide, provided it's good or you enjoy it. I mean, well, hey, share out all my stuff. That's awesome. Make those comments, because believe it or not, the engagement actually helps with the algorithm. Again, that AI robot that seems to be controlling everything on YouTube. And of course, I'll end the video the same way I always do and say, be sure to take care of yourself, take care of others, wash your hands, of course, because it's good hygiene. It absolutely is. And until next time,
I wear a weave.
Bye.
Hey there, just one last quick note before I let you go there, and before we make it to the end of this video.
I, CultureCasino, have a brand new Teespring store. That's right, you can now go to Teespring, look up CultureCasino, or use the link in the video below, and pick out some handsome and beautiful CultureCasino merchandise with many different designs and styles and colors, many different items. I was actually surprised at all of the things that you could create, and I have some more designs and items on the way here shortly. But, if you want to support the channel in that way, there is some merch. Otherwise, here comes the ending.
Thanks for visiting today. Be sure you're subscribed and hit that for alerts.
Yay!
Of course, like and share all of the videos that you can, as it helps with the algorithm. Have a great day.